Okay guys, here I am again. Got a new hive here. I don't know exactly what caused this one to die, but we're going to have a look at it. So I'm going to give you a look at it before I even go into it, and then we'll find out together just exactly what happened to it and go from there. Alright, so this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. It's dead, obviously. There was a pretty half-decent sized cluster. Now, this again is a nuke, so it wasn't a full-size hive. I fed it pretty good before winter, and also treated it for mites, so it should have been pretty low in mites. The one thing I did notice when I was taking the lid, there was a hole in the lid, and there was a bit of moisture on this area right here. Now on the inner cover. Now I'm not sure if that contributed to it or not, but we're going to find out. So let me get into her and then I'll be back in just a second. So we took the frame feeder out, and you'll notice the very first thing I notice is that the outside frame next to the feeder is right chock full of honey. So it doesn't look like they starved to death, but again, we'll get into her a little farther and see what happened. So, taking this thing apart, there's about 2.5 full frames of honey in here. So they definitely didn't starve. Now you can see that there's quite a little patch of brood there. And I haven't looked at it yet. That's the first frame where I saw brood, but it would be unusual to have that much brood coming out of winter. So this could have died last fall. We're not sure just yet. We'll take her apart, see what we can see. Okay, so I think we got her figured out here. So this hive here has about 40-50 pounds of honey in it, like quite a bit of like capped food in here, and for that reason I'm gonna say that this hive died last fall or early winter. And the reason I'm gonna say that, well, there's a couple reasons. So you can see there's a brood here. Now this isn't, it is a worker brood, it's not drone brood, so that's not an indication of a queen failure. But you will notice that there are some that are uncapped in purple eye stage, which is quite late in their development. And there's also some that are partially uncapped. And I don't know if you can see, but down in the cells there's some evidence of varroa activity. You can also see that there's a bunch of bee butts sticking out, and that is an indication of starvation. Like I say, there is a lot of honey in this hive, so I don't think they starved. So my official diagnosis on this hive is that they committed to brood too late in the season. They had a high varroa mite load. Because they had committed to having this much brood so late in the season, they couldn't move the cluster. And so they were protecting their brood, and they ate all the honey that's immediately around this area. And then they basically starved to death. So they were probably trying to protect this brood. And as you can see, most of it was probably the last round of brood of the year. Again, I think varroa was a contributing factor, but it's an official case of isolation starvation, is what I'm going to call it. And that's what you call it when they have food. You can see this capped brood or capped honey right here. They just couldn't move over and take advantage of it. So isolation starvation is the official diagnosis. Probably contributing factor of varroa mite. So there we go.